Talking now. All right. Welcome, everybody, to our mentoring session. So we have these once a month. My name's Helen, as most of you know. I've got Baxter here, Hayden and Georgia online from the FCA. And today on mentoring, we have the host being Small Business Mentoring Services, SBMS. SBMS are a gold partner with the FCA, and we're very proud to have them as a partner because mentoring is so important to us normally, let alone having a company or business such as this promoting mentoring amongst all small business owners. So we are going to hear from Sarah Pantaleo today, and Sarah is a board member and treasurer of SBMS, and most of you may know Sarah as being, franchisor and being in franchising forever and a day, 9 years board member of the FCA as well. So we're very excited to have someone so experienced online today talking about something that she's very passionate about, which is mentoring small business owners.
Thank you very much, Helen.
Over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I can only see you as little dots on the screen, but I'll introduce myself and then I'll introduce the gentleman that's on the screen that you can see. So obviously, Sarah Pantaleo, I'm on the board of SBMS, as Helen said, but I'm also one of the mentors that volunteer my time. When I stepped down from La Boqueta in 2019 and we went into COVID, I was going to be travelling in the US, but you know what? Life gives you lemons and you make lemonade. Is that what they say? So I decided to do a master's and volunteer my time as a mentor. And as part of that, I'll tell you a little bit about SBMS first and then I'll tell you more and how I worked with Tan. So SBMS has over 120 volunteer mentors across Australia, obviously including myself. And we work directly with business owners and partner with community, government and industry groups to deliver support that's tailored to each business. We're also proud to be a gold partner with the Franchise Council of Australia. We're recognised for our expertise in supporting franchise businesses. Today we'll show how mentoring can help franchisors and franchisees, right, power up their results, building clarity, confidence and momentum, and even when business gets a bit more complex. And to add context, I thought that we'd invite Tan Evans, right, and Tan is one of my mentees. So I volunteer at Queen Victoria Market and he is the franchisee for Ferguson Plarre at Queen Victoria Market. Do you want to do a little short introduction, please, Tan, on how you became a franchisee and where you were at with your journey when we started working together?
Yeah, sort of my journey goes a long way back, as in I suppose in hospitality. As I was about sort of 20 odd years in McDonald's, so I had all the McDonald's training, etc. And I've done a lot of things in between. I've run a small rental car company. I even worked at the ANZ Bank as a new to bank branch manager. That I just started up into a branch, and I'd never with ANZ and had never done banking before. So I'm good at doing I end up good at doing things that I know nothing about. So that was an interesting journey. And then at the end of I was sort of at the end of my tether at the bank after about 3.5 years. It was quite difficult at my age. I was maybe 42 or something like that. Yeah, it was starting, just with the amount of learning involved and learning how to do home loans, etc., like that, and all the compliance, and there was just so much. And I just felt that my learning abilities were starting to slow down a little bit. I suppose, like Clint Eastwood said, you've got to know your limitations, and I could sort of see that. And then the opportunity came up to buy into Ferguson Plarre. I had a lot of involvement with them in the past. I've been making coffee since 2000, so I've been making coffee for 25 years now. But I also started doing all of their coffee training, sort of subcontract, while I had another job as well. And so So I built them up from about 50 kilos a week combined over about 30 stores to about 350 kilos a week after about 5 years. So then we sort of, ceased working together for a little while, but I had the relationship really strong, and then went back as a business development manager, and then helped them create a position called head of company stores, and I took that on, and then so then I left basically there to go for the bank, and so an opportunity came up to buy the Vic Market store, and that was after COVID had started. So COVID had started. The previous owners had bought it maybe four years before that, I think, or 3 years, and didn't really have the customer service nous, and it wasn't like a natural thing. And unfortunately, the owner also then, for a particular reason, couldn't work in the business, so she ended up getting a couple of girls to run it for her, and it just went down and down. And then the dagger in the heart was COVID, and she scored the first lockdown, and so I had an opportunity. Like, Ferguson Plarre actually reached out to me. They said, look, if you want the store, it's probably going pretty cheap, and so the saviour was that I did pick up the store a lot cheaper than I could have got it, say, 3 or 4 years before that, which I was looking to do. And then high-fived everyone. It was high five, yeah, first lockdown's over, I'm back in, perfect timing, and we all know the story from there. And so it was in some ways lucky that I had all I was like one of the probably the best new franchisees that they'd ever had. I knew all the processes, I knew coffee, I knew everything. So it actually enabled me, like 4 out of the 5 days I was basically working in the shop on my own all day. My sister-in-law actually joked and bought me a Christmas present, which was like one of those like little bedpan things with a little tube, as in to go to the toilet while I was behind the counter, which I promise never happened, but it was close. I used to look out, and because I don't know if any of you know Ferguson Plarre at the market, but there's like 4 windows to close down, so it's not like you can just close a door, put a sign, I'll be back in 5 minutes. So there's no point to it. So I used to just have a look and then just do the bolt down the toilets and then come back, and that was how it went for the day. And anyway, so it was quite taxing physically and mentally, I think. I was very relieved on the Saturday to have sometimes my son, or I started to finally have some staff working with me and things like that. So I think
that's okay. You're fast forwarding. You're fast forwarding. We're
fast forwarding to then I met Sarah.
Yeah. So basically, because I want to take everyone along the journey, so at the end they'll have an opportunity to ask you questions. But thanks for joining us today, Tan. It's really great, because I think, I know being a franchisor sometimes an us and them, happens. But I just want to talk through our journey together and how we worked with the franchisor as well. And like many owners, Tan has just spoken about small business, right? What it's like to juggle everything, operations and your compliance, customer service, and, it's very difficult to step back. And one of the things that I said to Tan, because he said to me he wanted to grow, was, okay, well, this is not the way you're going to grow. And there was a few other challenges as well. We won't go into financials, but the financials weren't where they were meant to be, even though he didn't pay much for that. And he was also in a situation where you are at the market. So it's a captured audience. So I want to take you through that journey. So if you want to go complex, this was quite complex, right? So let's start at the beginning. We know what was happening in your business, right, and why. So what we do at SBMS at the market, we go for walks and we talk to the traders, right? I love doing this, by the way. I still do this once a month. And I go there, and I do buy my cheeses as well at the same time. But with Tan, I buy a coffee from Tan. Now I buy from his son, because he's not there. But basically, we then try and encourage them to get mentoring. This is an initiative where the City of Melbourne, through the QVM, through the difficult times of COVID, but also because they're in construction, it's a partnership that we have with Queen Victoria Market for mentoring. And so I do want mentoring. And then Tan took up the opportunity, which he had foresight to do that. And basically the first thing we did was do a health check on the business. Now, Tan knew SWOT analysis, right? You've done it before. He's been in operations, but he was now under the pressure of being a business owner. So it was a totally different context. And the importance of having someone like me to say, okay, I'm going to be really objective here because I don't have the emotion attached to it. And so we did the SWOT analysis. And I believe for you, one of the things that was in the weakness was spending too much time in the business.
Absolutely.
Right.
Just ask my wife. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
I think a combination of it was fairly exhausting too. Even though it wasn't, through COVID and stuff like that, it wasn't that busy. It was quite exhausting mentally and physically on your own. And I think, end of the day, I would generally, I'd be happy being around there because it's a fun place. There's lots of fun people and stuff like that, a lot of rapport. But I'd probably hang around longer than I needed to. And I think, coming to that realisation that I needed to sort of get out of there, have a bit of a break, drive home, and then start having a look at things like some of the figures or the growth that we've got, or just sort of ideas on ordering. But then also one thing that Sarah sort of pushed me to do was to sort of work with databases a little bit more and things like that, rather than just let the customers come in. Being the basically closest store to the city, we've got 80 stores, but I'm the closest to the city, so I've got the whole city there for catering and opportunities like that. So that was definitely an opportunity that we found that I could do more work on the business rather than in the business. Yeah.
And so how did mentoring help you navigate the boundaries of being part of a franchise? What did we do? So can I tell the story? How many years was it? Was it 90 years, Tan?
Oh yeah, well it's for the actual store it's about 90, 95, 96. It's approaching 1931 it opened the store, and then Ferguson Plarre's history 1901 started.
Yeah. So it's a really amazing story. And Tan was telling me, so through the SWOT analysis, we spoke about the strengths and how we can leverage the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and an action plan. I keep things very simple when it comes to action plan, because if you can't execute a strategy, there's no point having it. And through all that process, Tan shared that site had been there for 90 years. And I'm like, this is gold for a franchise business. 90 years, that's ridiculous. And so we spoke about that and understanding that we were in the COVID limitations. Our mentoring was mostly done online. And basically what we did, we said, okay, let's talk to the franchisor. Because I understand in franchising, you've got to collaborate. You can't just do your own LAM without understanding that. And I said, we're going to get the franchisor to help you. You haven't been here for 90 years, so I want you to go away and get that information, because Tom thought he had to do everything himself, as you do as a small business, even if you're in a franchise. But as a franchisee, realising that, right? So you went to the franchisor and I said, go and ask him for A, B, C and D. The franchisors, they love these kind of stories. They love creating them, right? So he went away, got them to work on that. And in the meantime, we looked at what could we do in our ecosystem. And at the market, what we could do was that the Queen Victoria Market does a local trader. And I said, Tan, this is going to be easy. I can guarantee you're going to get in the magazine. We just have to give them a story, because they don't have as many stories. We're going to get in. So we basically, the franchisor helped, wrote the story of the 90 years and did a highlight on Tan and got it shared in the internal Queen Victoria Market. And what happened out of that? It made it in the free Melbourne magazine. And what was the outcome of that, Tan?
Well, it's very lucky.
Who was coming to you after that?
Who was?
Yeah, remember what happened after that? The local traders were coming there.
Oh, they'd all come and chat and just call me a superstar. And it's a pity I'm so shy, really. But no, it was really, really good. Personality in the market's huge, and you got to get everyone. And I was pretty new in the market at that point, and certainly got to get it out there and get to know everyone. And the market's huge; it's a huge area, so there's a lot of people that wouldn't have known me previous to that. So So and they're also the market. Workers, etc., are probably about 40% of my sales as well. So it was certainly an untapped sort of area. Yeah.
So your
so long
sales
ago too. It seems like many
Had
years
it?
ago, doesn't it? It was
Yeah,
so
I
long
know. It's
ago.
very well back.
This old
I've got a
brain's
good
trying to go.
memory.
Yeah, what do we do exactly? Yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent. I'm glad
and
you've got the notes there.
but at what point did you start seeing the results in the mentoring?
Well, it wasn't long after that, to be honest. And there was a lot of things we did in conjunction, I suppose. Easing out of COVID all sort of happened, and then me managing to be able to put staff on, which was huge, and that's something that you pushed me to do to sort of that I couldn't be doing it all, and and that gave me a bit of freedom to look at other areas of the business, similar to what we said before with catering and all that sort of stuff. So. Yeah.
That was fantastic because we did look at opportunities like that as well. But one of the things was the limitation was you're a franchise. You can only do so much. You can only. So Ferguson Plarre are a franchisor that don't allow their franchisees to have a local social media page. So we had to think outside the square, right? So what we did is that Tan I suggested he uses local community, uses his own social media page and do that. And he was able to get a lot of orders with the cakes. So that was pretty exciting. But there were little wins. But the biggest win that I say from a mentor point of view is the exercise of giving a reality check to Tan. Let's see if he remembers. And the reality check was, how much is his time worth? And I asked him, how much do you think you're worth it per hour? And I don't remember what he said, but he said something over $100. And I said, oh, that's fantastic. You do realise that you can get someone to make a coffee for $23 an hour. And that is the realisation that small businesses don't do, the exercise. So we did the exercise, and the exercise that we did was how much his time was worth, and spending it on day-to-day mundane work meant that he couldn't work on strategy. So what we worked on is I showed him the scenario, what it would mean to have a person 3 hours a day for approximately, at that time it was $23 and probably $26 these days, but whatever it is, right? Even if it's $26 and multiplying that by 3 hours, and then he would get that back. And by getting that back, he then started putting one employee. He had his son that was doing some hours for him, and then another. And now when I go in to get my coffee on a Friday, it's his son running the show with another employee, and they are doing a fabulous job. So I just think that was the biggest thing. And would you agree that was the biggest thing that really unshackled you from the business?
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Like I'd sometimes even just go for a walk when I had people on and stuff like that, just to get out of the place, because I was probably a bit flat after the few years of COVID. So it was really, really good timing.
No, that's great. And so what's next for you, Tan, in your business? I know that we spoke about succession plan when we were doing our mentoring, but where are you at the moment?
Well, about a year and a half ago, I got quite sick, so I won't go too long. But actually, nearly almost passed. I was on the edge, and I had about 3 months out of the business. So again, I was pushed to realise that the business can still run. My two boys jumped in and sort of and other workers and got through that. But financially, it was really difficult. So it's sort of, we had been talking about me getting a big boy's job. And so I did when I sort of we had a Europe trip as well that I just made it to because I was just well enough to travel, and full recovery, mind you, I'm okay. And then got another job. So I've got a full-time job now, which is not very physical. So it's just on the computer, a team leader for complaints for a number of superannuation companies, and it sort of I suppose forced me to do what Sarah had said and really give that ownership and all that sort of stuff. And my son is the younger one that she's talking about. She's met the other one, Angus, but this is Nash, and he's only 17, and I just managed to have 4 weeks away in Europe, and without a worry in the world, and things he ran it really well, and it was under control, and so the next stage is starting to get him trained up, technically in a management sense, which he's already sort of halfway there because he copies whatever I do, and then and then getting him possibly to take over the business. Even he had a lot of school issues, so didn't really even finish grade 6, and but he's got the smarts. It just wasn't. It was through COVID and all that sort of stuff. There's a chance that he might buy the business, which is fantastic.
Wow. There you go. So talking about succession planning, and we were talking about when I'm mentoring micro businesses and small businesses, they say, succession plan, what do you mean? But succession planning has 2 parts to it. It has succession planning at a management level that we've been talking about today, but it also has exit succession planning. And when I owned the franchise, one of the first things that I spoke to franchisees about is, what's your exit plan? Yeah. Because you want to exit on a positive, not on a negative. You don't want to exit in distress. And I mean, Tan just shared that the site that he bought was in distress, right? That is the worst way to exit, because you're not realising the value of what you paid and your return on investment. So if you do a succession plan as a small business, don't have to happen now. It can happen in 5 years, 6 years, whatever it be. You set up the business for that succession. And right now, Tan can honestly say he's done his first phase of his succession plan. So the only thing I want to ask you, for anyone listening who's thinking, I'm too busy for mentoring, I can figure it out myself, what would you say to them?
Well, the reason why I said yes to, or I asked for the mentoring initially, was just because we were getting help with rent and rental assistance through COVID, and I thought I'd better do the right thing. It better look like I'm doing everything I can, to run the business, because I was pretty confident.
I'm really finding out the truth now.
Yeah, I was pretty confident. With my 20 years at McDonald's, I even went to Hamburger University, etc., in Sydney.
That's your problem.
Exactly. So I knew everything, just like she knows everything about La Porchetta. And so it was just a tick box exercise, really, to get it done, so I could say that I'd done it. But it was a real eye opener, and I wasn't expecting much, and I ended up getting quite a bit. So it was really good relationship from the start. We just got along really well. It was fun. It wasn't like we were working, and and then the results obviously showed. Yeah.
No, fantastic. You were a great mentee, and what is a great mentee? Someone that takes action. So it's one thing for me to be sharing and imparting some information, but look, the power of mentoring is the objectivity. Tan was emotionally attached to that business and was feeling the financial pressure and stress. I'm coming in, I don't have emotional attachment to it. So any mentor is able to go there, look objectively, give you strategies and so forth. There was a few strategies that we implemented with Tan. But look, Tan, thank you very much for being so open, right? Really appreciate your generous sharing. For those listening, look, I hope that you understand what mentoring is. It was just to give you a snapshot. You'll have the opportunity to ask Tan and I any question in a moment. But basically, look, in franchising, it's about leveraging your franchisor, right? And also it's about being able to understand that you still have to be strategic as a franchisee. It's really, really important. What we're doing, we've got a partnership at the moment that we've signed on with Burnwood, your old, and they're investing in their franchisees and doing some mentoring for them through us, right? And we are open to those kind of, but what we're going to do, the Baxter or whoever's in the background, we're going to give you a link, and SBMS is offering a health check, a scorecard, right? So that will assist you. And if you're interested in mentoring, so just so that you know, in my own business, I run a mentoring and coaching business. And obviously I work with larger businesses in my paid gig, and I get a lot more money, right? In SBMS, we're all volunteers, okay? And it's an affordable way to get mentoring. Tan accessed that through his QEVM, Queen Victoria Market. We do a lot of partnerships with local councils, but we also are looking for partnerships with franchisors. So if you're a franchisee and you want your franchisor to support you, right? But this scorecard is really good, that will help you as well. And Helen will share it. But
I'll send it.
Thank you very much, Tan, for your time. I think it's more interesting if we've got a franchisee in the room, and we're open for questions.
Who's got some questions? That was jam-packed with information.
Yeah, fantastic.
And Tan was very relaxed in answering, even though Sarah was questioning.
I've got so many more stories while waiting on questions. The other things you'd be interested in, I've been on Bachelorette America. Seriously. It was through the market. We had 4 cameras on me, and it was, I think, last year or the year before. It was the first Asian one from America, Asian Bachelorette. She was there. She was lovely. She had all the 12 blokes around her with their tongues out and trying to please her. And then we couldn't get hold of the footage. So my brother-in-law, this is a true story. Everyone thinks I'm joking when I say this. Couldn't get hold of the footage. So my brother-in-law does all the dodgy downloads and stuff like that. Sat down at his place, ready to watch it, me and my wife and him and his wife, and it comes up, and then all you can hear is my voice. There was 4 cameras around. My picture wasn't on there, but my voice was on there, so that's okay. And then more recently, a Japanese Netflix show.
International marketing.
Yeah. And a Japanese Netflix show, and I was actually on that for good 8 or 9 seconds, and I've actually had a number of groups, and I'm not joking again, of like 15 Japanese come up and want to. I even had to go around and have photos with all of them, because I was the one serving the mushroom pie to the Japanese lady. So I'm waiting for the invite to go over there. We're actually for the next series on Netflix. Yeah. So it's amazing what sort of connections you get by, even though I say I'm shy, clearly I'm not. By if you don't ask, you don't get. There was cheerleaders the other day from the LA Rams, and all the boys are going, oh, where are they from? I said, well, go and ask them. And we did, and looks like they're playing a game at the MCG next year, and looks like I'll get the cupcake order from the Rams.
So this is really good, right?
That's great.
So it is related, rather than just stories about me. It is related to the business side of
But
things.
across the road from Tan, from Ferguson Plarre, is a very, very pompous artesian coffee place. And so when we were doing the mentoring, it's like I don't know what they do, the drip, the this, whatever they do, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and it was really interesting because Ferguson Plarre doesn't get seen as a barista, because we're in Melbourne, right? We're coffee snobs here, right? So it doesn't get seen. And so what Tan was able to do is actually market that he's a barista. And he wore the right gear, and he went out and spoke to the traders and actually did that local area marketing, right? Got to know the traders, and they were all ordering. He was giving them a special deal, and they were all ordering coffee from him. And he increased his coffee sales to a ridiculous. How many
put the
kilos?
coffee machine on the outside. I started off at about 3 or even 2 kilos a week. got up to about 13, put the coffee machine on the outside. We got rid of a cabinet. The other thing I do is spruiking. So I might actually call out and say, hands up who's waiting 20 minutes on a coffee and all that sort of stuff, because they're pretty slow. And 25-year barista here, ready to go. 2-minute coffees, bring it on.
Yeah,
and,
it was fantastic. I love
that's what the market's all about. And I'm not shy to do it. A couple of the guys from there get a bit annoyed at me sometimes, but it's like, they don't own the business. That's fine. Spruiking's a thing to do at the market. And why don't they just make them quicker? And the other one is, choose your milk and your size over this side, because they've just got one size and they tell you what milk you got to have, and that's it. So there's many opportunities to be cheeky. And I'll generally, when they got a line up, I'll generally pull one or two, and then again, I've got them forever. So yeah, it's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well,
If you don't ask, you don't get.
Franchisees online, and you're thinking, where's your next destination place to open up a franchise? I think Queen Victoria Market sounds like a fantastic destination. And I think we've even got Vanessa. I think we've got Vanessa Wilmot on Geotech. Might be,
Hello,
I think you need to be looking at what traffic's going on at the QV.
So Vanessa is got a question. What do you see is the biggest benefit of having a mentor, or do the benefits vary depending on the business or franchise? I'm assuming that's for me. Well, let me tell you this, right? I mentioned one of the biggest benefits being objectivity and being a little bit more dispassionate. But the other benefit is actually when the penny drops. It's like, I do different exercises. I do customise the mentoring myself to the individual. Currently one of my own clients at the moment lacks confidence. Obviously, Tan does not lack confidence. So any initiative I would give him, he would go and implement, right? And what I'm doing with them, I'm saying, okay, you lack confidence. I'm going to attend a networking with you to build their confidence, because my business, I do a lot closer kind of relationship, right? So once I understand the individual, right, I mentor to the individual and customise for them. And that's really, really, really important, because then for Tan, he just thought that doing it all himself was the only way, because he knows what he's doing. Right? Rightly or wrongly, he's in there. You're in there. You, as we say in business, you get store blind, right? So for him, it was that. And the realisation for him when I did the exercise of having an individual 3 hours a day and he thinking that he's worth over $100 an hour, that's when the penny dropped for him. But for different people, it'll be for different discussions. So it might be that an owner thinks that no one can do it as well as them, or it might think that they don't do it as well, so then their customer suffers, right? Or anything like that. But a lot of the times, honestly, it's really understanding that you are in business and you cannot do it alone, right? And so this particular client that I'm seeing, it's their confidence. And she realised, because I gave her a reality check, she said, this is where my business is going, my clients are going under and I'm not increasing clients. And I said, have you put yourself out there? And she nearly started crying, because I'm asking her to get out of her comfort zone. But that's my job, is to challenge who's in the room. And now she's ready to go. She's committed, and we're going to go networking, and I'm going to book it in for her, right? So every individual is different. So it's really about understanding what the need is. Thanks for asking that, Vanessa.
Thanks, Vanessa. Any other questions?
No? So all I'm going to say to you all is, whether you're a franchisor or a franchisee, having a mentor does not mean you're lesser. Having a mentor is to elevate, to develop, and actually have an objective voice that can help you understand your business better so that you can take action, whether it's to grow, whether it's to transform. I'm a big believer. I'm people first, right? I'm always about people and understanding the people, but I use a lot of technology and automation and statistics. I'm a data-driven person and making informed decisions. And in small business, making informed decisions is crucial because we make decisions very fast and we keep moving. But if we don't understand the impact that a decision has made, and if we are not measuring it, right, we are just continuing to do the same things. And so we know that
Getting
that's
the same
madness,
results.
right?
Yeah.
So I urge you to consider it. If you think you're stuck in anything, go and find a mentor that you align to, because I'm personally not for everybody myself because I'm very direct and Tan knows, right? Would you
I could
agree?
handle it. I could handle her. She was
You
fine.
could handle it,
Like a puppy
absolutely.
dog.
But yeah, find someone that you're aligned to, and I highly recommend it. Thank you very much for your time today.
Well, thank you, Tan, and thank you very much, Sarah. That was very informative, everyone. Looking forward to actually listening to the recording again. I think there was a lot of gold nuggets in there. But when you all get the recording, you will get a link to the health check from
Yes,
SBMS.
Scorecard, the franchising scorecard, yeah.
Yeah, please, fill it out and find out where you're at or where you want to be and where you need to be. So, on behalf of the FCA, thank you to SBMS for being part of this, and Tan, obviously, from Ferguson Plarre, which is one of our members. And we love having franchisees on, absolutely, especially someone as animated as you, Tan. And we have ordered our lunches. We even had a board meeting lunch that we ordered from you not long ago. So, yes, we definitely do support franchising.
And Tan, they're not far from you, right? You're the closest Ferguson Plarre.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
deliver for free.
Australia.
We've normally got our own tram drivers, but they're not operating at the moment. It's not fun, but that's all right. Oh yeah, our delivery service is free. It's great.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Well, on that note, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Tan. Thank you, Sarah.
Bye, Tan. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
See you all soon. And we've got mentoring for the next month. Due end of November, but in the meantime, we have NFC starting on Sunday. Would you believe it's already here? So if you haven't registered and you are in Melbourne, just register now. It's going to be huge, and you'll have the opportunity to meet Sarah.
I'm there on Sunday. I'm there.
Absolutely. And so, we look forward to seeing you. Come and be part of the FCA community, but the franchising community, more important. So hopefully we'll see you all there. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.